Let's talk about a powerful, almost invisible force that shapes our decisions, especially as we get a little older. It's an instinct that feels a lot like wisdom, but, well, it can quietly become a trap. I know, that sounds pretty intense, right? But it's such a crucial insight. That feeling of safety, of sticking with what you know, your bank, your insurance company, your daily routines, it can slowly start to work against you. It's this strange paradox where the very instinct that helped you build security starts to chip away at it. So in today's explainer, we're going to pull back the curtain on this hidden instinct, really understand why it happens, and most importantly, learn a clear, calm way to deal with it. So here's our game plan. First up, we'll define the problem, what we're calling the safety sabotage. Then we'll dig into the why, what's going on inside our heads in your brain's preservation mode. From there, we'll get to the good stuff, a clear solution called the Objective Valuation Protocol, and I'll show you exactly how to put it to work. We'll wrap up by talking about why this is really about adaptability, and then I'll leave you with a gentle challenge to get started. Okay, let's dive right in. The first step is just to put a name to this feeling. And look, this isn't some personal failing or a sign of being stuck in your ways. It's actually a documented cognitive bias. This is it, the safe choice bias. Let's unpack that for a second. It basically means your brain is wired to feel the potential hassle of, say, switching your car insurance way more strongly than the actual guaranteed financial loss you take every single month by overpaying for your current plan. The fear of a small unknown just screams louder than the reality of a known negative. It's a completely emotional calculation, not a logical one, and it happens to all of us, quietly costing us money, peace of mind, and even opportunities. So, to get a handle on this bias, we first have to understand where it's coming from. You know, it's not random. It's actually a deep-seated function of how our brains are designed to keep us safe. We've got to look at these invisible forces at play. And that leads us to the million-dollar question, right? If a new bank has zero fees and our current bank charges us month after month, why on earth is it so hard to make the switch? Well, the answer comes down to two really powerful psychological principles. So the first driver is something called extreme loss aversion. Psychologists have shown that for our brains, losing $50 feels about twice as bad as the pleasure of finding $50. It's wild. This just makes us incredibly protective of what we already have. So when you think about switching services, your brain doesn't really focus on the potential gain, like saving money. No, it zeroes in on and magnifies the potential loss. The hassle, the risk, the loss of what's familiar. It just puts us on the defensive. And the second driver? That's the endowment effect. This is our brain's funny little habit of thinking things are more valuable just because we own them. You know that old armchair in the living room? It's not just an armchair, it's your armchair. And it's the same thing with your internet provider of 10 years. They're not just a company, they're your provider. This sense of ownership adds this whole layer of emotional value that has absolutely nothing to do with price or quality, and it really clouds our judgment. This really illustrates a fundamental shift in how we think over time. For a huge chunk of our lives, we're in acquisition mode, right? We're focused on gaining new things, a career, a home, skills. Our time horizon is long, our tolerance for risk is just naturally higher. But as we get older, our time horizon starts to narrow, and the brain makes a totally logical switch into preservation mode. The focus moves from gaining to protecting. Risk tolerance goes down. Now, this isn't a bad thing at all. It's a smart adaptation. The problem is just when that instinct goes into overdrive and leads us right into the safe choice bias. And there are a couple of other things that just pour fuel on this fire. The first is what we can call structural stagnation. I mean, think about it. The idea of learning a whole new online banking website or dealing with a different company's phone menu, it can feel genuinely exhausting. We get comfortable, even in systems that aren't great. The second is plain old decision fatigue. Life is just full of choices, and sometimes the easiest choice is to make no choice at all. It feels so much simpler to stick with the default than to spend the mental energy to research something new, even if we know it would be better for us. Okay, so we get the problem, we get the psychology behind it. Now let's talk about the solution. And it's not about becoming some kind of reckless risk taker. It's about becoming a clear-eyed evaluator. We're going to introduce a really powerful, structured system to help us push back against these biases. But first, we need to make a really important mindset shift. This might be the single most important idea to grasp today. We tend to think of change as risky and staying put as safe. But in reality, stagnation is its own form of risk. Doing nothing isn't neutral. It is an active choice, and it has real, measurable consequences. Every day you stay with an inferior option, you are actively choosing to accept a loss. And this brings us to the solution, the Objective Valuation Protocol, or OVP for short. Think of it as a simple, structured thought process designed to cut through all that emotional fog from loss aversion and the endowment effect. It lets you see your choices for what they really are. The protocol has 3 main rules. First, the blind comparison rule. This is all about stripping away the labels of mine and new and just looking at the options on their own merits. Second, the cost of doing nothing analysis. This forces you to actually calculate the real, tangible price of inaction. And third, the Decision De-Escalation rule, which is all about making change feel less scary by breaking it down. So theory is great, but how do we actually use this thing in our daily lives? Let's move from the what to the how, with 4 really concrete, safe, and logical actions you can start taking. Here they are, 4 practical actions. First, the annual contract audit. Super simple. Once a year, you just schedule a little time to review all your recurring services, insurance, phone, banking, like a financial checkup. Second, you practice the blind test, where you literally remove the brand names to compare options based purely on value. Third, you calculate what we're going to call the stagnation tax, the real cost of staying put. And finally, you use the low-stakes pilot to try new things without any big commitment. This slide shows that stagnation tax perfectly. This is where you make the cost of doing nothing totally visible. Let's just walk through it. Let's say your current home insurance is $2,200 a year. A quick search shows a comparable plan for $1,800. That difference, $400, that's your stagnation tax. It's the money you are actively choosing to give away for the comfort of familiarity. Same for your cable bill, a $360 tax. And your bank, charging you $180 in fees when a free option is out there? All of a sudden, that safe choice doesn't look so safe anymore, does it? It just looks expensive. And this is how we deal with the fear of change. The low-stakes pilot is your secret weapon. You don't have to commit to some huge permanent change all at once. Worried about a new grocery delivery service? Just try it for one small order. Thinking about a new cell phone provider? Grab a prepaid plan for a month and test their network in your neighborhood. By using trials and pilot programs, you're just gathering data without risk. It de-escalates the whole decision and makes change feel manageable and safe. All right, let's shift our perspective a little bit, because this whole process isn't just about saving a few dollars here and there. It's about a much deeper form of wisdom. It's about taking active, intelligent control over your resources and your life. This brings us to a new mantra. The goal shouldn't be preservation at all costs. It should be precision. It's about precisely aligning your resources, your money, your time, your energy, with what gives you the best quality of life today, not based on some decision you made 5 or 10 years ago. And you can think of it this way. Periodically reevaluating your choices is a profound act of self-care. It's high-level self-stewardship. You are the steward of your own fixed income and your own finite energy. Making sure those resources are being used as effectively as possible isn't being cheap or fickle, it's just being wise. It's treating your own well-being with the seriousness it deserves. And this connects to the real payoff, which is so much more than money. By clearing away the clutter and making these precise choices, you free up resources for the things that really truly matter. You maximize your income for more joy, you save your mental energy for more purpose and connection, and you boost your own sense of competence and independence. We've covered a lot of ground here, right? From the deep psychology of our own brains to a practical toolkit for making better choices. Now, let's just bring it all together into one clear final takeaway and a gentle challenge to put all this understanding into action. So, if you remember just 3 things from our time together, let it be these. The trap is the safe choice bias, that emotional pull to what's familiar that feels like wisdom but is often self-sabotage. The cause is rooted in our psychology, that powerful aversion to loss, and our tendency to overvalue what we own. And the solution is a clear, logical system, the Objective Valuation Protocol. So now, it's your turn. Just pause for a second and think. What is one safe anchor in your life? A service or a provider you've been with for years without giving it a second thought? Could be your bank, your home insurance, your phone company. Just pick one. And here is your gentle challenge for this week. Perform just one blind comparison. Take that one service you just thought of and simply write down the facts, your plan versus a new one. Then just look at it objectively, like you were advising a friend.
what would you tell them to do? Remember, that urge to stay put is a deep survival instinct, but our modern world asks for a different kind of wisdom. By using a clear process to see through the fog of familiarity, you aren't taking a risk, you are taking control. You're proving that your greatest strength is your ability to adapt. Because true security, it isn't about staying put, it's about staying aware.